Tell us a little bit about yourself. How you even got, to do real estate as your living, as the thing you are doing.
Well, I don't want to bore you for the whole life story, but I can tell you, I've been in real estate for almost 18 years, and it's been a beautiful journey. I couldn't have wished anything better than that. I started my career in real estate literally by doing rentals because I really wanted to get to the bottom of it. And then from there onwards, I moved towards sales, which was a single house sales, then moved towards bulk sales, bulk rentals, and eventually went into the off-plan sales. I spent then, I would say, a considerable amount of time of almost give and take 12 years in off-plan sales. And I was selling very selective products because I believe what I sell. Okay. And if I don't believe in that product, I generally don't even, recommend it to the people because real estate is a very unique field, unlike other. And that's what actually was the most beautiful part of real estate.
So tell me about this uniqueness of real estate. Why do you feel that real estate is so unique, so different than other ventures, other, let's say, properties or ways to make money or take it to whatever you want?
So if I compare it to the retail, the corporate segment, the hospitality segment, and I've been in all these threes and at a very high level, out there, basically what you're looking at is doing your job better. But here, what you're doing different is actually doing the job better for you. Real estate is a mix of entrepreneurship and solopreneurship. And that mix which comes in between is where the beauty actually comes out. Because you need to be honest in regards to your thought processes, your analysis, and then you counter check across with the stats, with how the property performs. Whereas in a normal job, you don't do that because you have a sort of SOP given to you, a sort of procedure given to you, and you master that procedure, you master that way of work. Here, that way of work keeps changing, keeps improving. I'll give you a live example. I was part of Four Seasons once in my life. And there I went down and I was pointing out a particular way of doing a task in one of the restaurants. And when an organization at that level heard what I was trying to explain them, they incorporated it. But the main part, they came back and they said, Kunal, in the past 12 years, you're the first one who have observed something and made a change. That showcases, most of the businesses outside real estate works on one-way stream. Real estate is actually innovating every day, training yourself every day, recalibrating yourself with the key points of the business, and then testing it against the threshold that whether my thought process, which has been gained over the years, is actually going to work or not, and is it the right way of thinking, and then going to the mass and understanding what the mass is there. Is the mass just being heard, or is the mass actually talking about the reality? And eventually then you come down and then analyze that whether your thought process has been on the correct path or not. And then the data helps you to recalibrate it back to the originality.
And all those years of seeing so many businesses, of working on so many deals and so many real estate, fields as well, from renting to owning to off-plan. What is the biggest lesson you can say today to Kunal of first day in real estate? What have you learned? What is the biggest tip or advice you learned towards the years that you can just whisper in Kunal's ear when he just started real estate back in the day?
If I want to sum it up with one word or one sentence, it's very difficult, but I would say change is permanent and change brings refinement. That's what real estate is actually all about. Because in real estate, like in any other industry, products keeps changing. Okay, you have to consistently learn new products, understand why it will outperform others. That's key, and it's not easy. I'll give you a live example. If you look at Dubai market today, there's a launch every 18 hours. I know it's slowing down. People are now getting into a different kind of, product cycle, but that's how it has been. By the time the week is over, you have already learned minimum 4 to 5 new different type of properties to understand their USPs, their uniqueness, how they get positions out there. That's something which is called refining your own sword. And the more you sharpen your sword, and consistently sharpen your sword, that's when you actually come down the line and understand why a property is good and what property fits which investor.
And in this dynamic environment when everything changes all the time, if you came across something that you saw and you didn't like it, you didn't like the way it looks, the way it performs, maybe it can be anything about real estate, and you thought to myself, I'm gonna do it differently. I would do it differently if I were in this stage, in this place, in this position.
Oh, yeah, there were many things, but the key thing which actually motivated me to pursue real estate was this only. I observed when I entered the real estate that everything which matters to any realtor or a broker in Dubai was a deal, because it's a commission based job. Do you get my point?
Sure.
So what happens is everybody is motivated. Everybody is motivated by only result, whereas the success doesn't lies in the result. The success lies in the process. And when you focus on the process, that is when your peak performance comes out. That is when your pipeline comes into it. That is when your discussions with different people comes into it. That is when an individual actually opens up to you. Otherwise, an individual will come in line, he will have a transaction with you and he will move out. If you really want to go down and understand the potential of an investor, then I would highly recommend that, rather than doing a transaction and trying to sell him something, understand his needs, understand why he's looking at things, understand how that particular decision will impact his life, understand how he has planned his life. That's when he will actually open up and tell you how much of investment he's looking at it, what is his horizon. Take that horizon and make it your pipeline. And when you have multiple pipelines like this, that's when you actually succeed. And after that, believe me, you don't need advertising. Real estate is the only field, once you are established, you don't need advertising. So understand your expenditure on the advertising or on marketing tremendously reduces. Your efforts, they quadruple. Your one effort would bring 4 different results, because your one suggestion which would have helped an individual to maximize his profit or to put that property correctly into his portfolio or in his life cycle or in his financial cycle will actually lead him to give you recommendation because you've heard him. And that's what doesn't happen in Dubai real estate.
Amazing.